Hey there, this is David Rush, Access Virtual Staffing, Chief Operating Officer, and I'm here to share with you a little bit about our recruiting process. If you're watching this video, somehow you got connected with Access Virtual Staffing and are exploring or participating in how we source incredible virtual assistants and then deliver them to you, our clients, or anyone who's learning about what we're doing here with virtual assistants and the value that can be created. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm using a new little Zoom technology here. We'll see how it works with this recording. And I'm just going to walk through the recruiting process so that you'll have a step-by-step video and also a guide because this file will be available and we can provide it to you at any time that you need it. So let's talk about the recruiting process in a step-by-step fashion. So the first stage that we go through in the recruiting process with any client is an initial consultation. Have a conversation to really understand and ask some questions to learn about who is it you're looking for? What resource, what talent, what virtual assistant's really going to make the difference for your business? Once we understand who it is you're looking for, the details, the job description, the tasks, the responsibilities, the skills that you're looking for, we then move on and share that information with our internal recruiting team. We have a number of recruiters in the Philippines on our team who go out and find incredible candidates. And then we actually have a two-tier interview process. So we submit the request to our team, and then our initial recruiters will find great candidates, have preliminary interviews, and then pass those to senior recruiters who will have a second round interview with the candidates that made it through the first round. And then they'll be passed along to the agent or whoever's working with you directly on your particular need. At that point, once candidates are sourced, team has been sent to the agent. The agent will then share it with you for your review. And there's an endorsement file. It's a beautiful file that contains a lot of different information from an introductory note to the actual resume of the candidate with their background and their information. You also get a DISC profile, a personality assessment, so you can review that. You'll get a video of the candidate and see how they communicate and what they have to say and how their energy and presence is. You'll also find out about the Wi-Fi and connectivity that they use, as well as the computer systems and the memory and the different capabilities that they have in terms of their technology stack. And so we'll share this file with you and for your review. And at that point, we say the client review and interview decision. If there's candidates that you see and you say, yeah, I like this candidate, I'd like to move on to an interview, you'd let us know. And if there are things that don't really align in some capacity with what you were expecting, we want to hear that too, because then we can refine our process and continue the search and find candidates that are more aligned with what you're looking for and what you were expecting. If you're a yes to the interview, we'll then have the interview coordination. We'll find out what time works for you. Send us a day, send us a time. And oftentimes, the times that you're available, the candidates are available. And if they're not, we'll just continue to find times that are, and we'll see and match, and then we'll set up the interview. Then we have the interview. So the interview, generally speaking, the interview is for you to do the interview. We're there to support. We'll kick off the conversation. We'll facilitate the conversation on Zoom or whatever medium works best. And then it's over to you to ask some questions. I think some good format is to have the candidate share a little bit about themselves, maybe personally, professionally, their background, and then ask them questions that are relevant for you to determine, do they have the appropriate skill sets and also the appropriate personality, like what you're looking for in a candidate, in a worker for your business? Do they match the cultural and personal fabric that you're looking for? I think that's important, and sometimes more important than necessarily the skill sets, because some of the skills we've seen can be learned But when you have the right candidate with the right mindset and the right mesh with your organization, sometimes that makes all the difference. So something to consider. After the interview, ideally in that conversation, we'll ask the candidate to drop off, and then we'll take some quick feedback. And you also obviously have some time to think about it, consider it, and come back to us. But sometimes in the moment, you have a good pulse check, you have some good feedback, and then we can work with you to either refine or help understand some of the challenges or the success of that interview and what you liked, what you didn't like, and that'll help us get to the right candidate. Obviously, if you love the candidate and you're a yes, we will then move to next steps. And next steps are letting our team know, letting the candidate know, and then making sure the right onboarding procedures are taken into account and moved forward. Some of that, if it's the first time you're hiring a virtual assistant through us, there are some obviously payment materials that we need to have filled out so that we can do payroll and payment systems, also client service agreement, just for the terms of our relationship together. And then on our side, we have an onboarding process. Internally, they'll be onboarded onto our systems, and we have a monitoring system so that we can monitor the moment by moment activities of the candidate. We do that on your behalf. And if you ever have any questions about is a candidate working or not working and what kind of work are they doing, we have a way of monitoring that and looking it over, and we'll present you with reports with each invoice as well. Also, just to know that once the yes in the process has been affirmed and you're ready to move forward, we'll send you an initial escrow invoice, which is the initial amount we hold up front, just as a security deposit on the payments and what money we'll need from you moving forward. And then every 2 weeks, you'll get an invoice for the hours that the employee worked. And we'll also need that payment form I mentioned. It's an ACH payment form, and we like that before we get started with the actual work and the start date for your candidates. What else do we have here? Start date determination. So at that point, you get to determine, whether we can ask the candidate as well, do they need to give a week notice, a 2 week notice, or are they ready for work immediately? And then decide what works best for you. Is there a day and a time that works best for you? And let us know that. We coordinate that with the candidate, make sure it works for them. And then we set the date and we start that forward. I talked a little bit already about the ABS system onboarding. Client onboarding, this is for you, it's what tools and systems do you need them to have access to? So that may be some of your tech team helping to work with that, or just making sure that they're getting onboarded to whatever tools and platforms you need them to have access to, passwords to, maybe it's your own login information, just so that they can help support some of the systems and tools that you're using. Then for the actual start date, we're happy to be there. We can set up a Zoom call or other medium so that the initial conversation, the initial start date can happen on our Zoom, or if you just want the contact information to set it up on your own, we can do that too. And then we always have a check-in. We check in with you periodically. We're always available in case you have questions, you want some ideas for how to manage the relationships better. And this is more just a top tip in terms of as you start this process, make sure you're prepared. You do some preparation for how you're going to onboard the particular virtual assistant, that you have some things you're going to teach them, show them, and then tasks that you have readily available. That's what we see really works, is when you think strategically about how am I going to train this person? What tasks am I going to give them so they can hit the ground running and you can hit the ground running, and you're not trying to figure it out as you go. Some of it will be that. A lot of times we're figuring out, especially if it's our first virtual assistant, how to communicate with them, how to onboard them, how to get them up to speed as fast as possible. So that's just something to be aware of. But the more prepared you are, the more thoughtful you are ahead of time. Maybe you have some SOPs, standard operating procedures, that you can share with them. So it's really clear the things you want them to do, how you want them to do them, what's best practice inside of your business. All of that goes a long way to a successful onboarding. So dialing this back, the intention of this video is, what is the recruitment process? step-by-step guide. I am using this function on Zoom with the share and everything for the first time. So I'm excited to see how this comes out. And any questions, you've got my contact information. You can text me by phone. You can email me on my email, obviously, and we're always ready to support and serve our clients in whatever way we can. Hope all is going well with you today, wherever you are, however you are, and look forward to connecting and communicating with you soon. Have a beautiful day.